Hello guys, welcome back to another exercise. So today in this exercise we will install Ubuntu Linux 20.04 in our virtual machine. So the first thing we have to do is we have to create a virtual machine configuration and we will name it as Ubuntu-1, and then we have to configure the network adapter to use network address translation. After that we will need an ISO file, that will be the installation file. So this one is here, Ubuntu 20.04.6, which is the latest one. So we will mount this ISO file so that we can start the installation process and we can boot from it. And then we will create a user which will be user1, and Ubuntu-1 will be the server name. So if I go to the virtual machine configuration, you can see here that in memory I have 2 gigabytes and number of processors 2, and in hard drive I am using 20 gigabytes, and network adapter is on network address translation. So if I go to the settings, so edit virtual machine setting, you can see the same things here. Memory, processor and hard drive is 20 gigabytes. So we go to CD DVD and it should be connected power on. So we use an ISO image, browse, and we have to select the Ubuntu file which we have downloaded. So it's here, so we can select this one, and the rest are okay. So it's on network address translation, so these things are as it is. So this we can leave it, and now we can press OK. So okay, and now we can power on this virtual machine. So now it will boot from the ISO file that we have just mounted. So let's wait for it. And now it is booting. So Ubuntu, so the first thing it will do is it will check the disk. So it will take some time. So I am fast forwarding the video. So it can take up to 2 to 3 minutes depending on your hard drive. So now you can see that the checking disk is completed and it hasn't found any error. So now let's move to the next step. So this is the main configuration screen and it will load something like this. And this is the main startup sound. So you have two options. Either you can try Ubuntu live, so you have the option to boot it live, or you can install it directly, so it will be installed in your hard drive then. So we click on install Ubuntu, and here we have to select a language. So select your language according to the region and then continue. And now we have two options, normal installation or minimal. So we click on normal, and we don't need any updates for now because it's the latest one, and we will install third-party software for graphic and Wi-Fi hardware and continue. So let's wait for it. And now we have to configure our hard drive. So either we can select erase disk and install Ubuntu and continue, or we can go with something else where you have to resize the partitions by yourself. So in the username we will use user1. So in your name we are putting user1, and a user will be user1, and we have to create a password here. So I am using a normal password for now with 4 digits pin. So it will not be that strong, but we can use it. Require my password to login and continue. And now it will start the installation of the system. So it will take around 5 to 10 minutes at least. So let's wait for it, and you can see that I am fast forwarding the video so that we can finish it very soon. So installing system. And here you can see that it will install the files automatically, and it will do a lot of things here. So you have to wait for around 10 minutes. And here you can see that it is almost completed. So after this installation is completed, it will ask you to restart the device. So let's wait for it. So it is copying installation logs, and now you have to restart. So the installation is complete. So click on restart now, and the virtual machine will restart automatically. And now it is saying please remove the removable media. So here what we have to do is we can unmount or switch off the CD DVD drive, and we can unmount the ISO file, but this we will do it later. And here you can see that our Ubuntu Linux is loading and we are on user1. So click on user1 and put your password. So we can sign up with our password that we have just created. So we are in Ubuntu. And this is the desktop interface, so it will ask you to set up some things, for example connect your online account and then live patch. Next, help improve Ubuntu, so I don't need. Next, privacy. Next, and here you have a program which is named as software, so from the software program you can download these apps now. So this we don't need it for now, and this is the menu. So you here you have all the applications. So now let's go to the terminal. So either you can search for shell or you can search for the terminal itself. So let's go to the menu, and here we will search shell or terminal. So if you write shell, the terminal will come and it will be like this. So the first thing we will do is we have to check our IP address. So IP-A, IP space A, and you can see that the IP address that we have on the second number, which is ENS33, it's the network address translation IP. So it is getting the IP from the host machine. So it's not from the DHCP, but according to the study guide, if you see here that in our DHCP address list, we don't have any system listed here. So it means that the virtual machine that we have created, this one Ubuntu, it is not getting an IP from DHCP. So the reason is that we are using network address translation. So let's try some things. So first I am installing ifconfig. So the command is sudo apt install net-tools. So after this one we can use the ifconfig command now, which is the main command for Ubuntu or Linux version to check the IP address and everything. So for Windows it's ipconfig, and if you notice here that we are using the IP from host machine, which is the network address translation IP. So what I am doing here is ifconfig ENS33 down. So I am switching off the network adapter, so operation is not permitted, so we will use sudo. So sudo ifconfig ENS33 down. So now our network adapter is down, and we boot it up again. So ENS33 up, and now it's done. So let's check the IP again, ifconfig. And still if you notice that we have the same IP 192.168.222.129. So it's because of the network address translation. So now what we will do is we will fix it. So we go to the settings, and here we have to select VMnet 5, which we are using in the Windows server as well. So if we select VMnet 5, both of the virtual machines will be on the same network, so that DHCP can give an IP address to our virtual machine. So sudo ifconfig ENS33 down. So the name you can see on the top left in the command window. So now if we do ifconfig again, you will notice that we have already got the IP, which is 192.168.1.50, and we can check it in our DHCP list as well. So to explain you everything clearly again, we go to settings again. So we are in our Windows server now. If you see here that we have two adapters, and the second one is on VMnet 5. So one is on network address translation and the other one is on VMnet 5. So we are using VMnet 5 for our DHCP server. So this one is VMnet 5. So what we will do now is we go to our virtual machine here, settings, and here if you notice that we are on VMnet 5 here as well. So both of the machines are on the same network, so that's why our DHCP is now able to give an IP to the virtual machine Ubuntu. And if we go to DHCP manager and we expand it in IPv4, we go to our scope and lease. Here you can see that 192.168.1.50 is listed here, and the name is user1. So this is our virtual machine, which is Ubuntu. So our DHCP server can give an IP now. So this one is sold. So according to the study guide, they are saying that we have to use network address translation, but if we use network address translation, we will not get an IP from our DHCP server. So now we have to allow all the incoming network traffic from Ubuntu on our Windows server. So for this one, we have this command here, net sh adv firewall and space firewall add rule. The rule name is allow all traffic from Linux, and then the directory is in. So in means inbound rule. So we are creating an inbound rule, and the action is to allow on all of the protocols, and the remote IP is equal to the IP address of Ubuntu 1. So to set up this one, we can go to our Windows Server 2022, and if you go to firewall and network protection and then advanced settings, you can create it manually as well. So it will open the inbound and outbound traffic rules. So here you can click on new rule, and the new rule will be custom rule. So custom, next, and it will apply to all the programs. And here the protocol will be any, and on the top you have to give the IP address on which it will apply. So it will apply to all of the IPs, and then we have to give the remote IP. So it will be our Ubuntu IP, which is 192.168.1.50, which is from our dhcp server. So if I go here, you can see that our IP is 192.168.1.50. so this we have to give it in the remote IP. So we click on OK, and it is added now. So now it will allow all the connections. Next, domain private everything, and name here we will give allow all traffic from Ubuntu. So here we can write allow all traffic from Linux, and when we finish, the rule will apply. So this is the option if you want to manually configure it from the firewall, or you can use the command. So the command is netsh adv firewall space firewall and add rule, and then the rule name. So the rule name is allow all traffic from Linux. So this is the rule name that we have put at last, and directory is inbound rules. So when you are saying directory is equal to in, which means inbound rules. If you write out, it will be in outbound rules. So inbound means the incoming traffic, and then action is allow on all of the protocols, and here you can see it is okay. So with these steps you can control the incoming and outgoing traffic from your Windows server. So that's it for today's exercise, and I will see you in the next exercise.